I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
What does a Donald Trump win mean for property prices in Australia? Yeah, I love it. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to answer that today. So what does it mean? So Trump won, and he absolutely annihilated Kamala Harris. He's won the popular vote. He's won the Electoral College. He's finished on 312 in the Electoral College. He's won the Senate, so he controls the Senate. He's got the majority in the Senate. What does it mean for Australian property investors? Well, first of all, let's take a look at what the policies are. So there's probably four main policies that grab everyone's attention. So the first one is he's promised tax cuts, massive tax cuts. In his opinion, he wants to reduce taxes, and he also wants to reduce the government, so red tape. So he wants to get government out of the way. So get government out of the way, let businesses do their thing. He wants to reduce red tape, and he wants to reduce taxes. And he feels that that will get the American economy spurring on and moving forwards. So that's the first thing. The challenges, the negative view of that is there will be an increase in budget deficits. If you reduce taxes, the government doesn't get as much taxes, so there'll be a reduction there. So that's what the downside of that is. Then the next thing, the huge thing, is tariffs, right? So he's saying that he'll implement broad tariffs, and he's also saying that China could be up to 60% tariff. 60%, oh damn! That is high, bro, that is high. What a lot of people don't know or understand is Trump implemented tariffs in his first presidency. What a lot of people don't understand is the Democrats kept the tariffs in place. So we already have a market where tariffs exist. And what a lot of people do not understand is Australia basically avoided all of the tariffs. Why? Because Australia, unlike most other countries that trade with America, America is in a trade surplus with Australia. You're like, well, Maxie, what does that mean? It means that Australians buy more stuff from America than Americans buy from Australia. And that's the way that Trump wants to see that relationship. So that's why Australia gets to avoid the tariffs, because they're already in the position that they're trying to get everyone else into. You know, so what everyone needs to understand, the reason why Trump is negative towards China is because there's such a huge imbalance. And I've seen a brilliant video on this. So here's how it works, guys. Let's say you're in business and there's another business, and your business says, you know what, we can work together. I'll give you some referrals that'll bring you business, and you give me some referrals so that I win business. And we'll both do business together. And let's say after the first year, you've given that company, let's say 100 referrals, and the other company gives you 5. You're like, oh, okay, well, it's new, let's see how it goes. Let's say the second year, you've already given them 100, remember. Let's say you've now given them 250 referrals, and they've given you 12. And let's say by the fourth year, you've given them 1,000 referrals, and they've given you 80. So at some point, you're going to evaluate that relationship and say, is this in our best interest? And that's what Trump is looking at. He's going, man, we buy way more stuff from China than China buys from us. We need to balance out that relationship. And that is what people are concerned about, because if he implements huge tariffs, it's going to have a negative impact on the Chinese economy. And for those of you who don't know, Australia has a really strong trading relationship with China. They sell them dirt, which is iron ore, and then China turns iron ore into products that we know, love, and use each and every day. The concern is if the US and China start a new trade war, and there's tension in that, then the negative outflow of that will impact Australian imports, which is iron ore. The interesting part is Fortescue Metals Group, which is headed by Andrew Forrest. Andrew Forrest has said he's not concerned. China is in such a strong position. They can go it alone. They've got enough projects in the pipeline. Australia will be fine. China will be fine. Nothing to see here. Right? So that was one of the biggest ones, tariffs. Next is immigration. Obviously, Trump wants to shut the border, and he wants to do mass deportations and get rid of all of the illegals that have come in over the last 4 years. People are talking about how that can have a negative effect on the price of labour, because if you're getting rid of people, then the price of labour goes up. But the reality is these are all undocumented people. There's no proof of them reducing the cost of labour in the US market. But the big one is Green New Deal. So Trump is going to get out of everything regarding climate change. And so what that means is his campaign slogan has been drill baby drill. So he's going to go back to drilling. He's going to go back and just approve all of the thing and bring the cost of energy down. So his big thing is, let's reduce the cost for American families. And you got to understand, inflation has been a Democrat-based issue, not a Republican issue. Trump did not create inflation in his first term, and so he doesn't believe that he'll create inflation in the second term. The stock market in the US had a huge bump on the announcement of Trump winning. It's going to be very, very good for business. So what this means, and like always, with his first term, everyone was like, oh, the sky's gonna fall. But the reality is he implemented policies that made it easier and better to do business for everyone. And there was a low inflation environment when he was in the last time. So I think that's what we'll see. I think we're going to see, lots of positive effects. For us in the Australian market, we are going to see interest rates come down. That will definitely happen. People are talking about inflation, but what they don't understand is that definitely was not a part of Trump's first. So he's going to offset the reductions, and he's going to bring in money from elsewhere. So that way there isn't an inflationary impact, and he's going to get out of the way and let businesses do what they do, which is conduct business. And that's had a very successful first term impact. That's what everyone wants to get back to. That's what we want here. We want cheaper cost of goods. If he increases oil production, the first thing we're all going to see is the cost of petrol is going to go down 100%. It happened straight away, and as soon as he lost office, the cost of oil around the world went up. So that's going to change. So for Australian property investors, what I see is we are going to experience a good period over the next couple of years. We're going to see the early stage of this as being extremely positive, and it's going to have a positive impact on property prices here in Australia.